Oh, are we live? That was just me humming a Moana song because I have a 2-year-old and that is all she watches. Seriously, we just got back from Tennessee, which is like a 6-hour drive. And I think we watched Moana 4-5 times. Well, she watched it. She was in the back. I was driving. But nonetheless, I'm Justin from the Podcasting Dead, and we are discussing tonight's episode of Fear the Walking Dead. That is season 6, episode 14. It's called Mother. And this is an interesting episode. I'm just going to start out and just straight up say, screw Dakota. I mean, like, nothing against the actress. She does a great job. But Dakota can go stick her head in a pile of shit, man. Like, every chance she has to redeem herself, she just like... And then we know she pretty much feels zero sympathy for murdering John, which makes her even more in my book. But he lives on in that new show, Army of the Dead, that is on Netflix. I got halfway through episode 1. We just got back from Tennessee like a couple of hours ago. So I've been on the road all day. But so I started watching that right before Fear came on. And I got to say, the first few minutes of that, like the intro of Army of the Dead, was like some tear-jerking shit. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. But John Dory is in that show. No notifications, Coleman, because this is a surprise podcast. I know we've been MIA for like the last 2 weeks. It's been busy. Like the first week on my birthday, I was sick. I had some stomach bug, and man, it was rough. So that's why we didn't do that one. And then last week, I wasn't even home. So just haven't been able to do these. And then I was in Tennessee. But then I was like, you know what? We haven't done a podcast in 2 weeks. Unacceptable. So surprise podcast. That's why you got no notifications. Coleman, Disney Rocks, thank you so much for joining us. But yeah, so we found out what happened to Cole and some of the other people I forgot about from the stadium. To be completely honest with you, if they hadn't given any exposition there, I wouldn't even realize that guy was at the stadium. Any of those other people. But nonetheless, they're there, and you know, it but I thought this was a pretty good episode. I gotta say, this season of Fear is definitely what I would call hit or miss, because some episodes have been like this one, pretty darn good. And then you've got some that are just kind of not. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Honey Badger, Dragos, Disney Rocks, Appalachian, Coleman. Much love. You know we love you. JP, I think, unable to join me tonight, as in I texted him earlier to see if he was free, and I haven't heard back from him, so I assume that means he is at work busting shoplifters, as only JP can do. So, hey. But yeah, talking about this episode, man, I actually thought that this was a pretty good episode. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Did you like this episode? Or did you know, because this season for a lot of fans has been very hit or miss. I hear a lot of people, not digging this season of Fear the Walking Dead. Some are more like me. I'm kind of in the middle on it. Like every time I think I'm done with it, the next episode's pretty good. Or every time I think it sucks and I'm about ready to quit, then, whatever. It always flip-flops. Or if I think, man, this was pretty good, then the next one will just straight suck. But I thought this was a pretty good episode. Coleman, be nice. I know that you're not JP's biggest fan, but I wish he were here. It's always fun having JP to talk to. But either way, I'm glad you're here, Coleman. But no, I thought tonight's episode was pretty good. It's kind of hard to do these by yourself. I'm not going to lie. You always need somebody to bounce off of. If I'd have had more time, I would have planned more accordingly, but I'm still in drive mode. I can't say I'm jet lagging because Tennessee's in the same time zone as we are, but still. Disney Rocks says, and I quote, if this would post it into the comments section. I thought it was pretty good. Last week's episode 2, where we met John Dory's father. I liked last week's. Yeah, I forget that there's like 3 episodes here we kind of got to cover because we didn't cover the last 2. Yeah, I like the one with John Dory's dad. The Morgan dream thing was interesting. I don't know how I feel about that episode. I didn't hate it, but I didn't really like it either. Whereas last week's, I like John Dory's dad. He was on Dexter. Honey Buster. I called you Honey Badger. It's Honey Buster. I am so sorry, Honey Buster. I think maybe we just need to start calling you Honey Badger. Coleman Domingo says, I've missed your sultry voice. Coleman, if you were the real Coleman Domingo, I would say that is quite the compliment because Coleman Domingo's got an incredible voice. From Anime Chan, what's up, everyone? How you doing, Anime? Thank you so much for joining us. I'm glad people decided to stop by because I know, like I said, if you're just joining in, there was no notifications, and that's just because I kind of was like, hey, surprise podcast, because we didn't cover the last two because of reasons we couldn't be on. But no, so she finds Cole, and we find out Cole's an absolute piece of dog shit. And honestly, Dakota should have just joined with Cole and them. I feel like she would have been, I don't know. I feel like they're going to try and save her. I feel like Dakota's going to have a moment where like she's playing, oh, I'm joining the crazy killer cult nuclear guy, but in reality, I'm going to save the day, which I don't want to happen. I want to hate Dakota. Don't try to redeem her. She killed John. She seems to show no sympathy for it. To hell with Dakota. But I'm just surprised she didn't join up with Cole and be like, hey, I mean, you'd fit in great with that group. Just kill people with no remorse. But yeah, so crazy cult guy, because I haven't quite learned his name yet, and I apologize for that. I actually like that guy. He's very charming. Like the whole time they had guns on him, I thought, man, if I was in their position with guns pointed at him, I'd be stalling on killing him too. He's so damn charming. Like he does really good at playing a cult leader. He's a believable cult leader. Sanburbia, oh my gosh, OG podcasting dead listener there. Fear is still on TV joking. I'm glad some people are still finding enjoyment here to support. Thank you so much, Sanburbia. I apologize that JP is not able to join tonight. He's actually working. But I'm glad you joined. Please stick around for a while. I can't promise it'll be super entertaining. It kind of depends on what happens in the comments section, but we'll slightly discuss this episode of Fear. Matty Williams says, okay, this episode was bits of Psycho. Yeah, as I was saying, man, the guy playing the cult leader does such a good job. Like, he's very believable as a cult leader. Kind of somewhat Charles Manson. Not Charlie Manson. I say Charlie Manson like I owe him. Sorry if I seem spaced out. I promise I'm not high. I promise I'm not drunk. I've been on the road all day, and I am exhausted. Bernadette Andrew says, with Cole coming back and them referencing Madison's sacrifice and treating it like such a big deal, Madison is coming back. I hope that Madison comes back. She gets a lot of hate from some of our listeners, but I actually really, really like Madison. Teddy, that's his name. Disney Rock says the actor who plays Teddy is great. He's so good at being insane. He is. Like I said, he plays a very, I mean, like you get some Charles Manson in there with like a little bit of, God, what's that guy's name? Who was that serial killer? Made everybody drink all the Kool-Aid. I used to know his name well. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it here on the podcast, but I can't think of it. Appellation, if I didn't love you, I tell you your opinion doesn't matter. But I do, and your opinion does matter. However, it's just wrong in this case. Who was the Kool-Aid guy that made all his people kill themselves? Anyways, like I get a mix of those two when it comes to this guy being a cult leader. I think he does a great job. Teddy is, Jim Jones. That's it. I knew that. Nancy, thank you so much for the backup there. Maddie Williams says, I'm sorry, but Dakota really needs to die. This young lady would have been crazy even before the fall. Oh, yeah. Like I said, I'm surprised she didn't join up with Cole and his people just because, like, hey, let's just kill people, feel no remorse, and take their shit. Like, hey, that's perfect for you, Dakota. Just go join them. Bernadette says, I just wanted to see her learning about Nick's death and go full ape insane and kill Charlie. See, that would be good drama, man. And like, I don't mind Charlie now. When I say I don't care for her, I don't mean that as in I don't like her. I just mean like they've done nothing with her character. So it's kind of like Luciana at this point. If they kill her, they kill her. I'm not going to really be sad to see her go because I haven't got to see her be here much. But that would be great drama, man. Have Madison come back, have her learn about Nick's death, have her just go ape shit and kill Charlie and like, whoa. And then, that's just good drama. And plus, Kim Dickens is awesome. Whether you love Madison or not, Kim Dickens is a great actress. I would love to see her back on the show. But yeah, so somebody fill me in because I'm ashamed to admit, and I probably shouldn't even be doing a podcast on this show, but like towards the end there, when he was talking about the bunker, and then he took Alicia down and like locked her, I guess, in the bunker. So is the plan that she's locked in there, and like when the world gets nuked and all those people die, that she is going to come out and like help repopulate the earth? I mean, is that kind of what he's thinking there? I know he locked, let me know in the comment section if I'm right on that, because of course I was finally getting to eat some dinner, and I kind of took, it took my attention off of it for like a second. Next thing I know, Alicia's locked in a vault or, some kind of shelter. And, I'm like, what the hell is happening here? So let me know if was that his plan? Like Alicia's going to be one of the only ones to survive. And we see Cowboy Morgan is back next week. So next week's going to be interesting. It's like Cowboy Morgan versus a nuke. And he's just going to stand in front of the nuke over the hole and be like, listen here, nuke, all life is precious. And then I guess he's going to take his stick and like stab it as it comes up. I don't know. I don't know how Morgan's going to stop a nuke, but I'm interested to see. But yeah, I'll tell you, I like Cole. I remembered his face, right? Like when he came back, I wouldn't have been able to point him out as being in the stadium. But once he said, I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember that guy. Okay, cool. But then when those other two people, showed up, I'm like, I do not remember seeing them. Like, were they really there? Vernon just says, he's hoping that when everything is done, Alicia would be let out and see the new world and get her gratitude. Teddy. Yeah, it's a little confusing. Do you think Al and Isabel will show up and save the day? I feel like Cowboy Morgan's gonna show up and save the day, but yeah, it could be Al. It's the way they split these episodes up, man, because what they're doing is just like, it's the wrong way to do it. Like, don't do this split up episode. They're going back into this rut, and I hate it, because Fear the Walking Dead needs to realize that it's not as good as The Walking Dead. It's just not. It's a good show with some good actors, but it's not as good as The Walking Dead. Like Al, I forgot Al was on the show, right? And it's like, stop. I wish they would stop doing, like, I haven't seen Strand in like 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, what they need to do is go back to taking all these different stories and mixing them into single episodes. Like we're with Alicia and Teddy and Dakota and Cole and them for a little bit. And then we're seeing what Al's doing. And then it flashes over to like Dwight and Sherry having some more of their bullshit drama no one cares about. And then it flips over to Cowboy Morgan while he's doing some badass Cowboy Morgan shit. Like, that's what needs to happen. I mean, if it makes it harder to make 16 episodes, I mean, I get it, but still, man, I mean, you don't make your show interesting, you're not going to get many more episodes. But this one was interesting. I'm just saying, like, you've got so many characters that, like, you go 5-6 episodes without seeing, and then you're supposed to care when they're in peril. And it's just like, man, it don't work that way. San Burby, I stopped watching Fear after the first season. Who's still alive from then? Well, spoilers, but if you clicked on this, I certainly hope you wouldn't mind spoilers, because why in the hell would you watch a review and discussion of an episode you haven't seen yet if you care about that kind of thing? But San Burbia, Nick is dead. Madison is dead. They say they confirm she's dead, but a lot of us think she's coming back. She's been gone for a couple of seasons. But yeah, Nick, Madison, Travis's shit son. I can't even remember his name because he was extremely forgettable. Troy. I don't know if you met Troy in season 1. But if not, he was like the best character on the show. He's dead. Daniel's daughter is dead. The only real main characters left from the beginning of the show would be, Luciana came in season 2. So, I mean, if you're talking, you quit watching the season 1, you got Daniel, Alicia, and Strand. Am I forgetting anybody? I think that's all that's left at this point from season 1. So if that's when you stopped watching, pretty much everybody you were watching is now dead. It's kind of like The Walking Dead. When you look, it's kind of sad when you look at those, like there's a black and white picture going around where it's like, everyone who's died, it's like all the season 1 crew sitting on like a vehicle, and everyone who's dead is like blacked out, or, and like that includes Rick is blacked out because he's left the show. So it's like just Daryl and Carol, and that's it. Bernadette says that they made Al the sister to Aaron, I'll be pissed. What are the odds that two siblings were gay? I'm gay, and I don't like that wokeness or odds. That would be really on the nose, right? If it's like Al is, but where are you getting that, Bernadette? Have you heard that Al is going to end up being Aaron's sister? Because if so, that is a little on the nose. Like they both come out gay. I mean, that's like feeding a stereotype, honestly. Yeah, a little too on the nose there. Odeman says if the nuke does go off, they will have to leave and probably head towards Alexandria. That would be so dope, man. Like I thought about that. It was something that Cole said, actually, that made me think about that when he was talking about, like, with all this gas in that truck, we could be halfway across the country. I was like, man, yeah, you could make your way to Virginia. But, you know, that is interesting. Maybe their area will get nuked and it will force them to head to the southern United States and eventually make their way to Virginia and meet up with our people. That would be great. That would be great. But then I think I agree. I want a Fear and Walking Dead crossover. The only problem is going to happen it's like the Rick movies. As much as I love Andy Lincoln and I love Rick Grimes, they're taking so long with the movies. I worry I won't give a shit by the time it finally comes out. And it's like that with Fear. Like, man, I want to see a Fear crossover, but at this point, why? I like Alicia and I like Strand. And I do like Daniel. But I mean, like, a lot of the characters I would have liked to have seen interact with each other are gone. They've died off, I mean, like I would have loved to seen Rick and John Dory meet each other. They're both cops. They're both a good shot, blah, 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 all these, so if they do a crossover at this point, it's just going to be like, man, you waited too long. But that would be cool though. They have to head to Virginia. Nancy McKnight says, why are they going all the way to Galveston to get a nuke when they are near Amarillo, where the final assembly plant is located? Cults have never known to be super well planned out. So perhaps that's got something to do with it. I don't know, Nancy. That's a great question. Disney Rocks. Al is off looking for Isabel. Yeah. The love of her life. Coleman says, yeah, it was a very slow recording for us actors, and we didn't have much screen time. Hi, Bright Coleman, and you deserve so much more. Everybody loves Strand. Samburbia, Alicia, and Victor Strand. Yeah, that's and Daniel. Don't forget Daniel. He was in season 1. He's still alive. Or did he die in the last 2 episodes and I just didn't catch that part? This is the episode that we really could have used a Talking Dead episode on because this shit was confusing. It definitely had some confusion to it. Like I said, I'm still a little confused as to him locking her in the bunker. I gathered from watching it, excuse me. I had gathered kind of like he was just locking Alicia away because he thought she was fit for the new world or whatever. So, but it is a little confusing. Samburbia says, dang. Yeah, Strand, Alicia, and Daniel. Like, that's it. Disney Rocks. Instead of bringing back Madison, they bring back 3 characters we barely remember and kill them off right away. Yeah, this was only slightly less. This was probably the second worst bringing back of characters that we had lost. So in The Walking Dead, you had Morales come back, and it was awful. Like, he comes back, and it's like, I know it was a long time. I mean, I get all of that, right? But it's like, it's been a long time ago, and yada, yada, yada. But then here comes Morales, and he's just a bad guy to Rick, and then they kill him, and it's like the Morales return was pointless and dumb, and they can't say, well, the actor wanted to return to the show. That's the way the writers chose to use him for some stupid reason. This was kind of like that, but at least we got more screen time with him. And like the second he was talking about, there's some nasty people out here that'll, kill people and take I knew he was part of it. I was like, sorry guys, I know this is inappropriate during a broadcast. I just I'm still recovering from the tribe today, but like I knew, I was like, oh well, he's gonna turn on Alicia, and really hoping that it wouldn't happen that way, but then it did. So yeah. From Rodrigo, the question is, are they going to drop the nuclear bomb or not? I feel like they're not, but I also feel like they absolutely should, because again, like the point I was just making, like I want them to do things that aren't predictable. Like the predictability of this is, they're going to stop it and they're going to disarm it. No, like this sumbitch needs to go off and take out that part of the United States and like just do something different. I think it should totally go off, but I feel like it won't. Season 2 cast from the main show was the best cast in my opinion, since we're talking about characters. Yeah, season 2 kind of bored me a little bit with the whole boat thing, but I'm going to say season 3 in San Burbia, you know what you should do? Even if you don't watch the rest of the show, what you should do is watch season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead. Season 3 of Fear I'll put that up against some of the best Walking Dead ever. Like season 3 of Fear is top-notch television. It's great story writing, great characters, great suspense. Season 3 was so worth slogging through. Slogging, is that a word? Of trying to get through seasons 1 and 2. Season 3 was phenomenal. And then season 4's first half was really good. And then it just kind of, and then from then on, pretty much like every season, like part of it was really good and part of it was absolute shit. But yeah, San Burbia, you really should go on Hulu or wherever it's at now. Find Fear the Walking Dead. I'm sure it'll give a recap or something. You didn't really miss a whole lot, but watch season 3, man. Season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead is so, so good. Let's see, Sam Burbia. I actually really like Nick and thought he was the main character. That sucks. Yeah, you should watch season 3. Nick gets a lot more screen time, and it's you get introduced to Troy. I don't know if you met Troy in season 1, but Troy's a big part of season 3, and he's freaking great. He's a psychopath, but like you kind of like him. Odeman says if they do bring Madison back, it should be in the Rick movies. Well, Odeman, how would you like to see that? Because I'm not against that. That'd be a really cool twist for us fans of both. But how would you like to see, like, why would Madison be in Rick's story? Like, let's put you in the writer's chair for a second. Why would Rick and Madison be in the Rick movie? And I say that genuinely interested. Please don't take that to be any kind of bad way. Like, I mean that, creative discussion here. I want to know, I would love to see it, but like, why would they be meeting? Let's see. Al referenced her brother loved to collect play numbers from every state back in season 5 when she was scavenging with Dwight. Who else it might be? Aaron explicitly said that he loves doing that. That's a good point. But man, that would be so on the nose. Is Dwight still around? I really like the actor who plays. I'm sorry, I'll keep yawning. I know it's rude. Yes, Dwight's still there, and he's on Fear the Walking Dead right now. He and Morgan both crossed over to the Fear universe. Let me fix my pop filter here. They both crossed over into the Fear universe. Dwight's character is kind of stale right now because there's like Sherry loves him, then she don't, and then they're back together, and then they're not, and she needs her space, and then she like. Dwight's Sherry thing is just getting old. But yeah, he's still there. And I also really like Dwight. And I say that as somebody who hated him in the beginning when he first showed up. Now I actually kind of really like Dwight. Let's see. Trying to keep up with these comments. You guys are fast. Maddie Williams says, since you did not talk about the past 2 episodes, what were your thoughts on those? So the Morgan Dream miscarriage episode was heartbreaking. Just the whole like not having the baby thing, but other than Morgan whooping those dudes' asses, like straight, whipping his stick around and all of that. I mean, it was okay. I didn't hate it, but I didn't particularly like it. Now, last week's episode was pretty good. Sorry, guys. Let me think back. Last week when Alicia? No, that one when Alicia got captured, was it? Gosh, I'm trying to I've watched both of them, but I'm trying to refresh my memory on what last week was. What was last week? But anyways, I know last week's I really liked. The one before that is kind of, but no, last week's episode was pretty darn good. I'm going to probably have a brain fart here in a second to remember what it was about. But yes, I did not really care for the Morgan Dream episode. It wasn't bad. I didn't really like it. But I did like last week's episode. Let's see. Who do we got? Rodrigo. If the nuclear bomb does explode, it would be a good time for a time skip. Abso-freaking-lutely. Donkeysaurus Wreck. Hey, the show's back. Yes, it is. Sorry we took a 2-week break. If you weren't here in the beginning, I had said that I was a little under the weather 2 Sundays ago. And by under the weather, it was my birthday. And on my birthday, I was yakking uncontrollably with some kind of stomach virus, and it was so rough. Let's see. Maddie Williams, we're going to talk about the odds. What is the chance that June would meet John's father? Oh, yeah. That even though, oh, that's it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Last week was her meeting John's father. Yeah. I do remember thinking, like, what are the frick? Like, on the nose. And they tried to kind of cover it up with him tracking Teddy, right? That was kind of why, because I think they knew that was a little, like, what are the odds? But no, you're right. I mean, on this show, there is no, there are no odds. So it absolutely could, it definitely could work out. But yeah, great point. Elijah Wilson. Hey, how you doing, my friend? Thank you so much for being tuned in. I know that this is a slower pace with it being just me, but I'm so glad you decided to stop by. Hopefully you'll stick around for a little bit. Bernadette says Morales was the worst. Yes, like what a waste of a return. And this guy was all amped up to return as Morales, which could have been really cool. Like we could have, I mean, how dope would it have been for the Morales backstory for them to like de-age people, which they've done before, take it back in time and see, like, even if it's just a quick, intro of the show recap of like Morales leaving Rick's group, what all he went through. No, let's not be creative or have fun with that. Let's just bring him back for a tiny bit of fan service and then just have Daryl put a bolt in the back of his head. What a waste. Dunkosaurus Rex says, hey, the Appalachian American. Booyah. So cool to see no Madison. All right, Donkeysauce. You can't be taking, well, you can be. It's a free country. You take whoever side you want, but I just don't agree with either of you. I liked Madison. I think Madison was great. David O'Donnell says he was trying to F with her mind. Of course, it's going to be so confusing. Donkeysauce Rex says Dakota becomes even more unredeemable, and yet I feel like they're going to have her re-switch sides, be her hero. That's what I was saying earlier, man. I really feel like that's what's going to happen. I really feel like they're going to take Dakota, who is irredeemable at this point in my mind. Like, just let her be a little shit. Like, don't redeem her character. Don't be predictable. Like, let her be a little shit. Make her a villain. Make her be next season's big bad. I mean, somehow that could work. But, let her be a villain. But no, I think that this whole thing is her. It's which isn't that just a repeat of like Victor Strand's thing? Like we were wondering, is Victor Strand really evil? Like what's his angle right now? And then it turns out he was building an army to take down Madison. So yay, Dakota's going to go in, make us think she's bad, switch sides at the last second. It was all part of her plan. Like stop redoing this. I mean, like they're not even letting this shit get a season apart before they start reusing it. And that's if they're going to do that. If they're smart, they'll just let her be a bad guy, bad girl. San Burbia says, all right, I'll check out season 3. Please do, man. Please, and come back and let me know what you think. Season 3 was just fantastic. I mean, I remember we were going to start covering this on the podcast, and I had quit watching Fear in like the first few episodes of season 2. I was like, dude, season 1, I didn't care for. Season 2, not fun. And then season 3 I didn't watch, and season 4 was coming out, but because it was going to have Garrett Dillahunt and it had all these, it was a lot going on. Morgan was coming into the show, all that. So I was like, okay, well then now I got to catch back up. We're going to podcast about this. And I sludged through the first 2 seasons, got to season 3 and just was like, wow, and blown away and sucked into it. It's so good. And Bernadette says, I agree wholeheartedly. The 3rd season of Fear the Walking Dead worked the best because they finally found the voice of the show, which was Madison. Agreed, Bernadette. I'm glad to know we think the same on that. Elijah, hey, Justin, how are you? Elijah, my friend, I'm great. How are you? I hope you're doing well, and I thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you're enjoying it. I know that it's a little different going solo here, but our commenters are giving me plenty to work with, and that I appreciate. Thank you so much for joining. Let's see. John Dory Sr. That's right. Disney Rock says, did anyone hear about the tear theory? Not my theory, but just heard that the season 6 Fear the Walking Dead posters of each character had a tear on their cheek. June had a tear and lost John. Grace had one and lost Baby. Oh, tear, not tear. Again, if you're just joining, I apologize. We've spent the week in Tennessee, and it's not terrible, but it's like a 5.5, 6 hour drive. And I just not long got done driving it, and I'm extremely, extremely tired. I have no idea if JP's caught up with them. I wouldn't think so at this point. Happy birthday, Justin. Sorry about your stomach virus. Thank you, Elijah. It sucked balls, but fortunately it was like a 12-hour virus. So like other than dehydration within 12 hours, I was done puking. And what's bad is, and I won't go into this long because I know that's not why you came here tonight, but for those that do keep up with the podcast and myself and JP, like we were in the middle of a hike, got like a mile into the hike maybe, and I just started feeling off. Next thing I knew, I was like stumbling. Then at that point, being stubborn, we'd already gotten to the halfway marker, so it wasn't a point of going back. So I hiked the whole thing sick as a dog, and it was a struggle and a half. I mean, I did not think I was going to make it off that trail alive, and then got a few miles down the road and puked my guts out in the side of in a bank parking lot. If it ever happened that somebody was listening from that bank, I'm so sorry that I left that in your parking lot. It was disgusting. But anyway, so yeah, much better now, though. Let's see. Bernadus, that June episode was soap opera writing at its best. They should be enraged they even had thought of the idea in the first place. I can understand that. Disney Rock says Sherry has a tear, and does that mean Dwight will die? Kind of cool theory, I heard. Why do I keep saying tear, guys? A tear. I don't know if they kill Dwight. The sad thing is, well, I'm not going to say I won't care because I do like Dwight, but like he's been so just not a big part of the show here lately that I don't know that I'd be that upset if he died. And if I was upset, it'd be more like thinking about The Walking Dead, not really him on this show. I mean, in my opinion, Dwight has been very underutilized in this show. Sorry, guys. I really think the smartest thing for Dwight and Morgan would be to send them back to The Walking Dead. And you know what? Since I like Alicia and Daniel and Strand, let's send them back. And then that's what they should do. Strand, Daniel. All right, so Alicia, Strand, Daniel. Alicia, Strand, Daniel, and Dwight. Sherry, all the rest. Even June. I'm sorry to the actress that plays June, but even June should all be left and caught in the nuke blast. And those main ones should like be on their way to Virginia to get out of the blast radius. That's what should happen. David O'Donnell says Dakota's going to launch the nukes. I could totally see that. What a douche that Dakota. Abolition American says it's okay to be wrong. Madison was so good they had to kill her off. Not even going to comment on that. How many good characters that like legit were good have been killed off? I mean, that's like saying Herschel was such a good character. They had to kill him off. Like he didn't want to be written off the show. He was fantastic. It's not apples to apples at all. Odeman, when they get to the hotel in season 2, it got good, and that carried into season 3. Season 3 was the best season. If not 3, then it would be 6. Oh. Elijah Williamson, I had a stomach virus before. I felt like I was hit by a truck. Yeah, and it was very fast acting. But man, for that 12 hours, ooh, it was rough. And it was like the violent puking, right? Like not just to where I'm talking like the puking where it's like my diaphragm hurt the next day, where it's like something was squeezing you. And it's like, horrible. But fortunately, hopefully, I won't go through that again for a while. I want to see the Clarks becoming the villains. I don't want to see Alicia saving the world from a nuke. That would be a cool twist. Again, I mean, the show needs stuff like that. Good twists. Andrea was challenging the plot. The writers couldn't handle such a complexity in a character, and that's why they killed her off also. I was not a fan of Andrea. I'm not going to lie, Bernadette. Andrea is my least favorite character of this entire franchise. But yeah, that probably is it. They wrote themselves into a hole. The writers of Lost, and I say this as someone who is a huge fan of Lost, my favorite show of all time. They wrote themselves in a corner sometimes and had no clue what to do after that. Disney Rock says, that's what I loved about Army of the Dead. So many deaths and gory. Yeah, I'm halfway through episode 1 now, and then Fear came on, so I had to stop it. But I liked it pretty good. I mean, Batista's a beast, so it's cool to see him in there. Adam Gilbert says, I'm still bummed how they killed Travis a while back. They did him dirty. Yeah, just chilling in a helicopter flying, and then I've been shot. And then that was. I mean, the Walking Dead universe is no stranger to making questionable decisions when it comes to the characters. Man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to go to bed soon. But no, so we start the episode off finding it was cool. We could go back and see Teddy in prison and see him make his. And what's cool is what I will say, I've kind of been bashing the writing here, this podcast and lately. But what I will say is going back on that and kind of giving kudos to the writing, it was cool to see. Like, if you really switch gears here and you put yourself, in Teddy's position, right? Which it's hard to do because he's legitimately crazy, but you think all of these things, and then you think the universe is the one, yada yada yada, and next thing you know, the universe starts giving you signs. You're sitting on death row and the doors just open, the dead start eating the living, and you are allowed to walk out. And then, like, even tonight, you're held at gunpoint and shit just works out and you make it. Like, he keeps thinking, from his perspective, every time someone tells him he's wrong or he's in a position to have to pay for what he's done, he gets let off the hook through, extenuating circumstances. So in his mind, he probably does think the universe is helping him out, throwing him a bone constantly. So he must be on the right path. So I thought that was some good writing in the beginning. But so we start with that, and then we see him. He's got Alicia in a room, and he's, playing his own recordings over and over. And like, I thought that Alicia was going to end up being brainwashed for a little bit. Especially, I thought it was like a little clue when she like repeated a little bit of what he said. But mainly it was because she had heard it so many times. She was annoyed, saying it kind of annoyed. But I was like, oh my God, Alicia's going to get brainwashed. But fortunately, she didn't. And then he takes her down the road. They talk about her mom and the stadium. And then he takes him to a grave and digs up what we think is his mom. May I fast forward a little bit and say, when Cole shot that corpse in the face and all those maggots went flying, I was eating a bowl of ramen noodles at that exact moment. And I didn't finish them. It straight up made me look in my bowl and just be like, bleh. But yeah. But no, so then they meet with Cole, and I thought too when Cole pointed out the strips that pop the tires, and was like, oh, bad people put them there. But I'm like thinking like, well, then why are you still alive? If they're still operating, how are you alive? You're probably one of them. Then when he was talking about the bad people, I'm like, yeah, Cole's definitely a bad guy. And then Cole ended up being a bad guy. Big shock. But so then they go back to their little outfit, and they go back, and then he wants Teddy to tell them where they're going, and they fix the truck. But then they, now when I try to describe the episode like that, it doesn't seem quite as, but it was a good episode. I assure you that, especially for like Suburbia. As you can tell, I promise I'm not high. People ask me all the time, am I high? Because I have what they call lazy eyelids, or ptosis, just where my eyelids don't open all the way. And I'm sure now, I'm super sleepy, it looks like I'm even higher, but I assure you I'm not high. I'm so tired. But anyways, good episode. Glad to see Cole and the douche brigade all die. And I love how, like, I guess they were a couple, that Frankenstein looking guy and the old redheaded lady, and then they died on the opposite sides of the car. And it's like, baby, no. Well, you shouldn't have been a dick. But, and now Alicia's in a tough little spot. 2 episodes left. I wonder how they're going to do that. Let's see. Donkosaurus Rex. I just want them to throw in that right after leaving prison, Teddy went to Georgia for a bit, so we can say he was the one who fixed those corpses. You know what? It would be super freaking cool to find out that Teddy was locked up in the prison where the group stayed. That would have been a cool twist, man. That would have been freaking awesome. Now I really want that to be the case, but I don't think it is, and I don't think we'll find out. But that would be so freaking cool. That's a great point. Let's see here. Donkeysaurus, I'm proud of you. That's a really cool thought. Adam says, I think Teddy is a better villain than the past few ones at least, but honestly, that's not really saying much. No, it's really not. The villains have not been the best. So no, I like Teddy. Like I said, I'm sitting here watching like, damn, he is charming. He could actually lead a cult. Elijah says, how would a fight between Beta and a lusted Travis go down? And who do you think would win based off of how much? Oh, dude, Beta would wreck Travis. Like, no question. And I get what you mean when you say lusted, but for some reason, the way I read that, I just read it like lust as in like horny lust. And I just imagine Travis being like super horny. Like him and Beta would be fighting for a totally different reason. But no, Beta would wreck Travis. I mean, Travis definitely could go savage, but at that point, now give it enough time, Travis probably would have become a beast and he might would have stood a chance. But as far as what we got of Travis, because he died after that. So what Travis we had, Beta would wreck him. Now, Travis surviving long enough to face Beta, I don't know. He definitely could have become a beast, but I still think Beta would probably wreck him. Beta's a beast. Bernadette says, oh God, Donkeysaurus, hearing Beth's name or Daryl's name be referenced makes an importance in the franchise. Is the last I want to hear. I hate those two. You hate Daryl and Beth? I mean, Beth, I can understand because as much as I like Emily Kinney, Beth was annoying quite a bit. But Daryl? How can you not like Dare Bear? Donkosaurus, they're great. So much better than Madison, Travis, and Nick. David O'Donnell, they just showed Cole get shot on the replay. Nice shot. Yup. Donkosaurus, that walker that killed the bald guy was like one step away from them while they were still talking about executing them. Yeah, I was thinking as he was sitting there, they like him and Alicia were doing their thing. Like, why is a walker not got up and just bit him in the neck at this point? Let's see. Disney Rock says, not to change the subject, but did you get issue 15 of the Walking Dead Deluxe comics? The covers are fire. You know, it's in my box, but I haven't picked it up yet because I'm not going to be. I didn't get to go to the comic shop this week, and in fact, I don't think I'm going to get to go next week. So it's going to be a few weeks. I'll probably have 2 or 3 issues of that in there. But you know what? I'm glad you said that. Let me text JP and tell him to please put any Walking Dead Deluxe comic variants in my box, please, sir. Please. Thank you. Please. But no, the covers have been fire on that. That's been fantastic. If you ever wanted to get into the Walking Dead, man, Walking Dead Deluxe is the way to go. Beta had the best trainers money could buy before the zombies. True that. Adam says, would have loved Savage Rick versus Savage Travis. Now that would have been more of an even match. Travis might have stood a chance given enough time. Okay, got you one better. Okay. Bernadette says, I can't stand Daryl, dude. Sorry, I don't like the idea of revolving a show around him. He's a walking perfume model. No substance whatsoever. Hey, Bernadette, as much as I do like Daryl, I agree with you 100%. If you go back through the archives of our podcast, if you even go to the season 10 finale of our podcast, you'll see where I said that I think the title says something about Daryl being a glory stealer or something. Like, I hate the way they rework the show when it comes from comic to screen translation just to give Daryl more time. Down to the Beta kill. That, like, why couldn't my boy Negan have a little fight with Beta? We knew it was coming. Like, we knew it was build up, and he gives us like the hey shithead line, and it's like, oh, here we go. Like, yeah, Beta's probably gonna whoop that ass, but still in the comics, Negan and Beta fought. Negan showed him the business there for a while. At least Negan will get a few good hits in, and then Daryl could have saved the day. But what happened? No, Beta had to pretty much start whooping Negan's ass out the gate so that Daryl could come in. And yeah, so I agree with you on that, Bernadette, 100%. Elijah, the guy that fought Maggie and Daryl versus Beta. The guy who fought Maggie and Daryl. You're going to have to refresh my memory. The guy that fought Maggie and Daryl versus Beta. Wait, talking about the cowboy? I mean, the redneck? No? Refresh my memory, because I'm not sure exactly who it is you're talking about. Coleman Domingo says I could whoop Beta's ass. I believe in you, Coleman. I believe in you. Bernadette says Travis and Rick might have gotten along, to be honest. They both had dickheads as their only son. They would base their friendship on that. Man, sometimes I hate my son. Travis didn't have an accent, so he'd be like, yeah, I really don't like mine either. Do you want to be best? Did we just become best friends? Travis would be like, yep. Bernadette says, yes. Remember when Daryl replied to Rick's "We Are the Walking Dead" speech? He said, we ain't. Like, what the? That's supposed to be a defining moment of the franchise, and they just gave it away for Daryl. Daryl had to have his line. The Reaver, I think, with the grenade. Oh, gotcha. And that's versus Beta? That guy he had grenades. So, maybe, but he kind of couldn't beat Daryl, so. But yeah, I think JP said he would do that. Let me see. Sorry, guys. I know I'm rude. I'm yawning. There was no announcement. Next week, everything will be normal. That I can promise you. Let's see. I didn't know if I was going to get home tonight in time to even do this. Bernadette, I would be more accepting of Daryl's existence in the show if he was gay. And why would you like to see Daryl gay? Like, what is the reasoning for that? They definitely made him kind of asexual right now. Well, until he met a girl he got dog from that time while out hunting for Rick's body. Other than up to that point, like, I definitely thought Daryl was just like an asexual being. Like, I thought at some point he was going to go off and lay an egg, and it was going to be like a little Daryl because he didn't need anyone else to procreate with. Like, I had a baby. No, it's not Rick's. Stop saying that. But yeah. But I think that's going to wrap up tonight's podcast. Good episode. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next week. We only got 2 more left of this season. There's a nuke that's about to be launched. How's it going to stop? Will Morgan kill it with the power of love? Or what's going to happen? Realistically, they should shake shit up and have that nuke go off and decimate that part of the country and force our characters back to the southern part of the United States. I think that would be awesome. But let me know what you think. Yeah, I did burn it, not to, because I am closing this thing up. But yeah, I did see the Daryl thing. But the thing was like, if they would have made Daryl gay, it definitely, as you said, would have definitely kind of conflicted with the Jesus storyline and kind of bit off that. And some people already said they were kind of biting off the Jesus character for Daryl. So, yep. But thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you so much for joining in with me and giving me something to talk about. I'll be back next week. Hopefully JP will be able to join me. If he's not, hey, I'll still be here. We'll still talk. Hopefully something's going to happen on that episode that's really going to ramp up the excitement. But nonetheless, I thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your night. I will see you soon. I'm Justin. We're the Podcasting Dead. And before I go, I want to say, don't forget to check out our Patreon. Patrons this week, we still did a What the Fuck Wednesday. Oh my God, did I just actually drop the F-bomb on YouTube? I don't normally do that. That's usually reserved for the Patreon. But we have a WTF Wednesday segment that we do. And that we still did that, but we didn't have our regulars because I was on vacation, but I'm back. And so next week it'll be back to regular schedule, but you should check out our Patreon cast. If you haven't already, just go to patreon.com/thepodcastingdead. And if that doesn't work, just go to Patreon and search for the Podcasting Dead. Join us be a patron. You get extra podcasts. You get more in-depth conversation. You get some video casts. There's a lot of cool, really fun stuff. So check that out and support the channel. I know that the Appalachian American says that Android users are having trouble with Patreon right now, which sucks ass because I'm sure several of our patrons are using Android. I just thought that I hadn't seen some people in the comments section and was like, what's happening? I thought that perhaps, they just weren't listening, but it turns out they're having issues with their Androids. So the Appalachian American says, click this link. Do it so that you can go join our Patreon. But hey, that's going to wrap it up for me. Once again, I'm Justin. I thank you so much for allowing me. As you can tell, I'm slurring. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Peace, much love, and I'll see y'all soon.